Of November, and it's getting a little cold here in New York, so we'll talk a little hot stove.
The Mets have been in the news for signing free agents and their players getting postseason awards, including our first Rookie of the Year since Dwight Gooden.
Yeah, that's great. We haven't even talked about the Knicks at all, and how about them Islanders in first place? Well, not first place, they're in second place.
Yeah, one point out.
Yep.
And in our Did You Hear About segment, is Justin Bieber a sports jinx?
I think so.
And how about LeBron James not allowing the kids to play football because it's too violent? Alrighty, these stories and more on today's Glory Days coming up right now. InReview.com. Hello again, everybody. Today is Saturday, November 15th, 2014, and you are watching The Glory Days Show with Bruce and Disco. My name is Paul Discofani, and this is my good buddy, Bruce Oler.
Hello, Disco.
And you are watching us today on the InReview.com TV network. Behind the glass is both Chuck and Bonnie today behind the glass.
Yeah, no Kyle, though.
No Kyle today. Kyle is off doing something else. We broadcast to the world from the InRavio studios at the Village Music Shoppy right here in beautiful Mastic, Long Island, in the great state of New York. Good morning, my friend.
Hey, how are you?
Doing okay.
It's a little chilly, though, huh?
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
real,
November is here, so we should expect the weather to be a little cooler.
Well, I wonder, you know, they now all of a sudden, every time it gets cold, they use the word polar vortex. Where did that come from?
Well, I'm not really sure, but I mean, it looks like there was like this tropical storm out there in the Pacific, okay, and it's kind of pushing like this Arctic air mass down from the pole.
Do we have a weather map we could put up behind us? Well, you know, they're getting snow in places.
Well, I couldn't believe, they talked about we might get a dusting, and New York City goes into this panic mode where they're issuing a snow emergency or something.
Oh, I'm headed out today after we finish the show. I'm going to go look at an Arians snowblower.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Arians?
Yeah. Like the Aryan Nation?
Yes, I know all about them.
It's red and black stripes. Anyway, so it's been a really busy week here.
Yeah.
In the world of sports. So you got a lot of things going on. You got college basketball, which we don't care about. You have college football, which we sometimes care about and sometimes don't care about.
Yeah, you should mention that for a minute. Edgar's son, is
Edgar
playing
Mina's
Duke.
son.
I watched that game, and at the end of the game, I saw Edgar in the stands.
Did you really?
I did. Yeah. He seems to be enjoying himself. They've got a big game against Virginia Tech at noon today, I believe.
Yeah. So, it got everything's coming together here. Baseball's in the news again.
Yeah.
You've got basketball,
Hockey's going on.
Hockey. Thank goodness for the Islanders.
Yes.
By the way, otherwise hockey season would be in the tubes.
Yeah.
Basketball season is 12 games into the season. It's already in the tubes.
Yeah. Knicks are not looking too good right now.
But let's talk about some of the other stories.
Yeah, the topical things that are going on.
We have a segment that we like to call
Did You Hear About? Mm-hmm. There we go.
Okay. So, our first story today. Do you remember that terrible report last month about St. Louis Cardinals rookie outfielder?
Yeah.
His name was Oscar Taveras.
Mm-hmm.
The 26-year-old was killed in a car crash along with his girlfriend in the Caribbean. Well, the toxicology report was in. And not only was he drunk at the time of the fatal crash, he had a blood alcohol level 5 times the legal limit.
That's unbelievable, man.
Right?
That is.
So
And his girlfriend was killed too.
Right, a spokesman for the this is funny. A spokesman for the Dominican Attorney General's office said he was legally intoxicated when he crashed. You think? Right? He only hit 239 and he hit 3 home runs in 80 games. But he was ranked as the number 3 overall baseball prospect before the season started. The Cardinals also lost a pitcher, Josh Hancock, in a car crash a month into the 2007 season that showed his blood alcohol level was more than twice the legal limit in Milwaukee. And then the Cardinals banned alcohol from their clubhouse. But the team is owned by Anheuser-Busch.
I know. That's crazy.
How do you do that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, do you think it's just like they can't have beer in the clubhouse, but wherever they go, they have a free Anheuser-Busch card that they could just go anywhere in the world?
I don't know.
And they get beer for free? It's kind of like that the Kramer thing when he got burned with the coffee. And he was able to get as many coffees as he wanted for the rest of his life.
I'll take it. Yep.
Yeah, right.
Okay, story number 2 involves LeBron James. He told ESPN.com that he does not let his sons play football because of the health dangers. He said, only basketball, baseball, and soccer are allowed in my house. Now, the newscast, there was a tease coming up with these newscasts or whatever, and they were saying, LeBron James is not letting his son play a sport.
Right.
So I immediately thought maybe he's talking about hockey, But then they said, the tease was this is a sport that LeBron James had played himself.
Yes.
I said, I know he's not a hockey player,
Yeah.
So it's a safety thing. As parents try to protect your kids as much as possible. I don't think I'm the only one saying that not allowing kids to play football. It's just that he's LeBron James, and it gets into some kind of headlines for some reason. In addition to being only one of the most highly touted high school basketball players of all times, James was an all-star wide receiver in high school. LeBron Jr. is 10 and is beginning to focus on basketball while his brother Bryce Maximus. Wow. He plays soccer and other sports. LeBron said, we don't want them to play in our household right now until they understand how physical and demanding the game is. Then they can have their choice in high school. We'll talk it over. But right now, there's no need for it, and there's enough sports they can play. They can play basketball, they can play soccer, they can play everything else, but football and hockey. Okay.
And, basketball is also basketball is probably the least protected game as far as equipment is concerned.
Well, it's not called a contact sport, I guess, but, there are fouls, so obviously, if you foul, there's some contact going on,
Right, and you know what? Guys can fall on their heads, and there's zero protection.
That's right. They're not wearing any real equipment,
but
other than maybe a jockstrap.
Right. But you know
they
what?
protected their package.
But you know what? There are very few concussions in basketball. And you know why that is?
No.
I know. Because they're not wearing any helmets. And the players have a mutual respect for each other. And there aren't any players, when you go up for a layup, there aren't any players undercutting you to make you fall on the ground. Because what do you get? A foul?
Yeah.
Guy gets a free foul. But you could seriously injure a guy. Mm-hmm. And that goes back to that argument, not the argument, the discussion that we had with Pete Sorgerson.
Yes.
And we were talking about how hockey players at a very, very young age are so padded up they can barely move. So therefore they never get hurt.
Yeah.
So when you get to play the game, you have no qualms about sticking somebody in the head and doing stuff like that. Originally football had just those little leather helmets.
Right, exactly.
Right?
There wasn't all that used to
wear. But there wasn't all that protection and stuff because it was just the way it was. And I think that when you start protecting everyone, it actually, I'm not saying brings out more violence in the game, But it's certainly...
No, but people don't realize the ramification of hitting somebody, when you have that much equipment,
Well, look at hockey players before they started wearing helmets.
Yeah.
And you didn't hear of people getting concussions. They had broken teeth, and they had hockey players were always known for having missing teeth and
That's right,
stuff.
yep.
But that was because pucks deflect. It wasn't for sticks and stuff like that. And goalies weren't even wearing masks.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
But again, the stick was not curved where they could really get some lift and things like that,
So, LeBron James, good for you.
Yeah.
Why would you name your son Bryce Maximus?
I don't know.
Maybe he was watching the movie Gladiator at the time. Well, it's a good thing you didn't call him Gluteus. All right. That was just too stupid. I had to put that in.
That's a good one.
All right. We have another story.
Okay.
All right.
The Biebs.
Did you hear about Justin Bieber?
I did. I did.
So, Justin Bieber was visiting with the Pittsburgh Steelers players.
Yep.
Okay, during their prayer service the night before the Jet
Saturday
game.
night.
Right. He's posing for pictures. Some of the players posted them on social media. Mm-hmm. Well, the Pittsburgh fans were complaining and griping that Bieber is a jinx. And they were tweeting even before the game that now that the Steelers were now doomed against the Jets. Okay, a PGA golfer, Steve Wheatcroft.
Yeah.
He jokingly threatened to withdraw from this weekend's tournament to hunt down Bieber and focus all of my time and effort on making him pay for cursing my Steelers.
Boy, oh boy.
Right. So in 2010, Bieber wore a Texas Ranger jersey, and they lost to the Giants in the World Series. Mm-hmm. At this year's World Cup in Brazil, he was wearing a Spain jersey.
Boy.
Okay. He was also chastised for touching the Stanley Cup in the Blackhawks locker room and then standing on their logo. They wound up losing the cup to the Bruins that year.
This is I guess, the Madden football jinx.
Well,
huh?
It's not anywhere near the Sports Illustrated cover. Remember, that used to be a jinx, and then the Madden football jinx. But, I don't know.
It's crazy.
Would you invite Justin Bieber to be part of your anything right now before a game? Sports guys.
I wouldn't want that guy hanging out with me anyway, to tell you the truth,
But sports guys are very, very superstitious.
They are.
And once this comes out,
he's doomed.
He's doomed.
He's doomed.
What else you got?
Boris and Sandy. That's, I guess I'm talking about
Scott Boras.
Scott Boras, the agent, and Sandy Alderson. In the past, super agent Scott Boras usually has a grocery store shopping comment, I guess an analogy for the Mets when he asked about their spending habits. In previous years, when they passed on many of his overpriced clients, he said the Mets were shopping in the fruits and nuts, and I guess I put that in quotes, section. And last year, after signing Curtis Granderson, he commented that they had upgraded to frozen foods. He even likened the Mets to NASA, saying they have big rockets, a lot of platform, and very few astronauts. This year, regarding the signing of Michael Kadire, he said, obviously, they went more with the ready food section. Mets general manager Sandy Alderson, who also has been attending the general manager meetings in Arizona this week, opened his last press conference with saying, and I quote, Boris has been shopping near the meat section. That's where he gets all his bull, and you fill in the blank there. Okay.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Scott Boras, we know what a jerk Scott Boras can be. And the Mets really, the Mets do have a fairly good relationship with him. They have had a number of his clients. Carlos Beltran was a client for him and stuff like that. But you know who is one of his clients? This is gonna go right to your heart.
Jacob deGrom.
No.
Okay.
Close.
Oh yeah.
Matt Harvey.
Matt Harvey.
Matt Harvey is a Scott Boras client.
I see.
So Matt Harvey's coming up, I guess, in a year or two, to being a free agent. That's why he says he's going to end up at the Yankees, because Boras is going to make him want so much money. So the only thing that the Mets can really do is get to the playoffs this year and make him want to stay here.
Yeah.
And not leave just for the money.
Yeah.
So.
Or as Terry Collins said, we're going to have to throttle him. Maybe skip a start or two.
Right.
So maybe his numbers won't be that impressive. He'll command all that money.
We were talking about the fact that the great year that he had. Remember, he was like 8-1 or 8-2 or something.
Yeah.
Obviously he did get hurt, and he finished the season like 9-5.
Yeah.
But really, what have we got out of Matt Harvey? We got a half a year the year before. We got another good half that year. And he's coming back from Tommy John surgery.
Major surgery.
I'm just a little concerned that we're expecting too much from him. But at least I think that the Mets will probably take that to heart, especially what happened with Strasburg.
Yeah.
And limit, maybe let him skip a start here and there.
I don't think it's a bad move. Of course, this guy, he's a stud. He wanted to pitch this year. So Collins has already said, it was in yesterday's paper, that basically says he sees, that there's going to be some friction going forward,
Right.
And he's probably right.
And you know what? I think that the mistake that the Washington Nationals made with Strasburg was more of a mistake of waiting till the end of the year.
They didn't pace him. They didn't pace him because you know what? They needed him to pitch some big games in September and into the postseason.
Right.
And you know what? He wasn't available because basically
he ran out of innings.
Yeah, exactly right.
And
he had exceeded his capacity for the year.
And the Mets really know that they really want to play in October this year, even though they have 4 regular season games in October this year.
Well, they will play in October.
They will be playing. We will definitely be playing in October.
It's a Glory Days
baseball.
prediction. Okay, the Mets will play in October.
All right, let's go take a break.
All right.
We're just getting started here on the Glory Days show. We'll get a break. We'll take a break, as they say. And when we get back, we'll talk about what's going on in the world of baseball with our hot stove.
Yeah.
Report. That's kind of what they call it in baseball.
Yeah, now where did they get that name from, I wonder?
I don't know, I guess because it's cold and you're sitting around a hot stove.
I wish there was a hot stove here.
Talking about baseball. Actually, it's nice and cool down here in
Okay.
the radio studio. All right, later on we'll take our first look at the Knicks. Stay with us. You are watching the Glory Days show with Bruce Disco, only on the InRadio.com TV network. Coming right back.
InRadio.com. For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com. InRavio.com wants you. InRavio provides the best in TV, film, post-production, and so much more. And we're growing. Right now, we're looking for a team of pros that can join us. So what are you waiting for? We need show hosts, production crew, marketing gurus, sales experts, audio engineers, lighting, visual effects, and camera crews. We want you. Go to InRavio.com/join the team.
Welcome back to the Glory Days show with Bruce Disco here on InRavio.com. Let's take a look at our pigskin pick'em standings.
Do we have to?
Yeah.
I say that every week.
It's really embarrassing. You know, that the two, but then again, we've never said we're experts. We've
No,
never
I liked
said
it better when we had to pick 3 games. I was getting those usually right.
All righty, well, let's take a look at our leader. Our leader is still I Need a Bag of Ice with 99 now, including Thursday's game. But he had only 10 correct last week, allowing some of the players to get back in the game. But he still leads number 2, Hank Loke, by just 3 games.
Yeah.
3 games, yeah.
Yeah. Now, Stephen Buono-Payne, 3, picked up 2 on the leader with 12 this week. He only missed 1, and that was an upset.
Yeah.
That was the Jets beating Pittsburgh, you know?
Yeah.
So he's in fourth place, 8 behind the leader.
Yeah. Most of the teams were within 1 or 2 of the leader this week, but third place Tenacious Titans lost the game to the leader.
I see. Our favorite inanimate object, Sammy Stone, moved up another notch to 12th. He's tied with yours truly at 84. But he missed on Thursday, and I didn't.
Yeah, he took Buffalo.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
I lost the game to the leader with my second straight 9-point week, but I did drop into a tie for 9th with 89 points.
You can follow along with the 2014 Glory Days Pigskin Pick'em on ESPN.com, Fantasy Games. Remember, the winner at the end of the season gets to do a live spot with us.
So that'll be pretty good.
Yeah, that should be. That should be.
Although the I Need a Bag of Ice guy was one of our first ever Glory Days callers.
That's right.
He was one of the first ever to call the show.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think my friend John Mulligan, was our first one. He said he'd been listening to us for years, I think is what he said. Yep.
All
okay.
righty. So let's talk about
some baseball.
Baseball.
Okay.
All right.
So the World Series has been over for a few weeks, but let's see. But things are starting to heat up in what is known as the hot stove talk in baseball. Trades, free agent signings, postseason awards, rule changes, it's all starting to heat up. The Mets picked up 2 awards this week. Center fielder Juan Lagares was named the National League Gold Glove for an out for center field. And pitcher Jacob deGrom won for Rookie of the Year, receiving 26 of 30 first place votes over Cincinnati center fielder Billy Hamilton and St. Louis second baseman Colton Wong.
I never heard of either one of those guys.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. DeGrom, he's 26 years old. He went 9-6 with a 2.69 ERA, 144 strikeouts, 22 starts, over 144 innings. He was twice named Rookie Pitcher of the Month, July and September, tied for a Major League Baseball record, striking out the first 8 Marlins on September 15th. He was a 9th round draft choice in 2010. Omar Minaya did that.
Yeah, it was an Omar Minaya choice.
And he was the 5th Met to receive the award following Tom Seaver in 67, Matt Lack in 72, Darryl Strawberry in 1983, and Dwight Gooden in 1984. DeGrom was originally called up to work out of the bullpen, but he made a spot start when Dylan Gee was placed on the injured reserve list. He then pitched the rest of the season as a starter. He is the 5th NL rookie to post an ERA under 2.75 and has at least 1 strikeout per inning. On our program, live in the studio, we have Jacob deGrom.
Good morning. You know, I just want to say what a great year I had, and the fact that I'm looking forward to the 2015 season.
I am too. I am too. But you know what? You need to get a haircut. You know?
No, it's like Hercules thing.
Okay.
I can't cut my hair.
It's not Hercules. Was it Hercules? Hercules
Had the hair, didn't he?
I don't think it was Hercules. I'm trying to think who it was. Samson.
Samson.
Yeah, you go.
That's right. Hercules had the muscles.
Yeah, that's right.
Delilah cut his hair. You see, you can't trust women.
Yeah.
All right, that was stupid.
That's a nice prop there, Disco. Okay.
All right. Thanks to I Need a Bag of Ice.
Yeah.
All righty. Continuing with baseball, did you know that Michael Kadire is a lifesaver?
I didn't know that till I read something this week about that.
So, former Tigers and Twins reliever Brad Thomas, he's forever grateful for Michael Kadire for saving his life.
Yeah.
Okay?
Now, let's ask, how could that happen?
And you know I'm going to answer.
I'm sure you will.
So, they were both teammates for the Twins' AA minor league affiliate, the New Britain Rock Cats. And during the semifinals of the 2001 Eastern League playoffs, Thomas, who's a native Australian, was booked on American Airlines Flight 11 from Boston to Los Angeles on September 11, 2001, in case the Rock Cats were eliminated from the playoffs while they were in Boston that weekend. And he was heading home for the offseason.
I see.
But Kadire single-handedly saved the Rock Cats from elimination. He had key hits in the final 2 games, including this monstrous 3-run homer in Game 4 to win the series and advance the Rock Cats to the finals.
Yeah.
Since the finals were scheduled to begin on Tuesday, September 11th, Thomas canceled his ticket for the flight to Los Angeles.
So he would have been on the flight that crashed into the World Trade Center, I guess,
That was the one that struck the first tower.
Wow.
So, you know, that's a That's a pretty amazing thing.
It is.
You know?
It is. Talk about karma or fate or whatever.
Right.
You know.
Thomas says, every time I see Michael, there's a handshake and a hug. I'm one of his biggest supporters, and I always follow him no matter what.
Even on Twitter, I guess. Huh?
I guess even on Twitter.
All right. So, anything to talk about? I mean, that was pretty self-explanatory. I mean, that's
just a.
it's fate.
It's fate.
It was fate, man. You know. So speaking of Kadire, the Mets signed the Colorado outfielder to a 2-year, $21 million contract. Kadire said, "I'm excited to win now and play closer to home on the East Coast." Because I guess he's from Virginia.
Yeah.
Okay. I am excited to get into a Mets uniform, excited to get to Florida, and I am excited to win. Hopefully win the National League East, and hopefully do some damage in the postseason as well.
You know, he's a friend of David Wright.
I know.
Right? And when they asked him about David Wright, if he influenced his reason to come to the Mets, he said, "I've faced a lot of those young pitchers more than Wright has, so I know exactly what I have there." That to me is a great indication of what the rest of the league thinks about the Mets.
Yeah.
You know, a guy is saying, "Oh my goodness, I had to."
I'd rather be fighting with him than against
Right.
him. You know.
Terry Collins said Michaels is a big bat and a big addition to our lineup. Are we done? I think we still need another bat,
Yeah.
but whether it is a bat in the off season, off the bench, or another position. You know, so.
Now, Kadire turned down a $13.5 million one-year deal, one-year offer from the Colorado, saying, "As hard as it is for some to believe, it's not always about the money. This is one of those cases. Just the excitement of being able to come play for the Mets was the biggest attraction. Where I am in my career, what's important is 1, to win, and 2, to be closer to home. I think both these issues were nailed in this signing."
You know, you think about it, he turned down $13.5 million to stay in Colorado, which is a hitter's paradise. He's only getting, I think, $8.5 million or something. I think $8.5 million for this year.
Okay.
And then he's getting $12.5 million for next year.
Yeah.
So
The thing is, you know, he didn't play all that many games last year.
no,
though.
well, he
I
played,
guess he was hurt.
He played only
40-something
49
games.
games
Yeah.
he played. But he won the batting title the year before,
Right.
You know, in 2013. And you know what? I know I should know this, but I don't remember what he got hurt, what kind of an injury he got.
I don't know. I think a plane flew into him. I don't know.
Wouldn't that be ironic if he dies in a plane crash and the other guy doesn't?
Yeah.
Well, listen, maybe he could die in a plane crash after his 2-year contract with the Mets is up. Do they still have to pay his contract if he dies in a plane crash?
I don't know. There might be an insurance policy on it. I'm not really sure.
All righty.
You know, on paper, it sounds like it's a good signing. It really does. You know, unfortunately, you know, the Mets have this bad karma about them. You know, and guys that are hurt, you know, they get hurt again.
Yeah.
That's what happens. You know.
You know, they keep trying. You know, they get these guys who were previously injured, hoping that they'll have this bounce back season.
Yeah.
You know, and it turns out that they don't.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you look at the Yankees. The Yankees, you know, and it was a story this week, I guess, where Cashman and Girardi, they said they were button heads, and they really weren't button heads. I mean, basically, the general manager's got to try to put the best players out there, and he's got to also assume the worst. So he's not assuming that A-Rod's going to come back and be the A-Rod that he was before. You know, meanwhile, you know, Girardi's he's playing, you know, the good cop. You know, he's embracing him. A-Rod, he thinks he's going to have a great year this year, and things like that.
And do you think that there's any coincidence that the Yankees have not made the playoffs in the 2 years since Major League Baseball adopted their new steroids policy for testing and for players, and that no old players or players that weren't performing anywhere else are coming to the Yankees and turning into these big stars?
Well,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's
just saying. I'm not accusing.
It's coincidental, Disco. You know. Yeah.
You know, but something's going on.
Yep.
All right. So I wanted to tell you about this story that I read about a nasty argument between Jonathan Nice and manager Terry Collins.
Yeah.
Okay. It was during the last week of the season. Nice's last start of the season. In the third inning, after a leadoff single, Nice was asked to lay down a bunt. It's like a sacrifice bunt. Okay. Instead, with the infielders charging in, he pulled back and took a full swing, and he flied out. Okay, according to the players and coaches, when he came back to the dugout, Collins was waiting for him.
I'm sure he was.
Okay, and the exchange went something like this. All right?
Okay.
Now, you beat Terry Collins.
Okay. Why? Because I have white
You
hair?
have the white hair.
Okay, all right.
So you beat Terry Collins.
All right. Why don't you put that hat back on?
And I'll be Jonathan Neese.
Okay.
Now, Jonathan Neese doesn't have as much hair
Okay.
as thing.
Okay, so here we go.
So you're
Terry
going to
Collins,
be you're going to
boom.
be Terry Collins. I'm going to be Jonathan Neese.
What the F was that?
Hey, they were coming down my throat, so I tried to slash.
Yeah. Next time you get the bunt down like you were told.
F you. Take me out of the game if you don't like it.
You're out.
No, but that's the problem. He didn't do that. So the question is, okay, so Terry Collins didn't do that. Instead, he says he knows that Neese's intensity
Yeah.
is just during the game, it's just, you just leave him alone.
You know, I've seen these guys, you know, you talked about the last game of the season. I've seen every time Collins comes out to take him out,
There's always something.
he cops an attitude towards him.
He says, I know him like the back of my hand.
Yeah.
He's so wired during a game that when you say something to him in that situation, he just snaps.
Yep.
I have zero problem with John Neese's competitiveness.
Yeah.
Now, you know, Collins didn't feel it affected his authority by backing down to Neese, and most of his players agreed. Just saying, you know, and this is one of your favorite words, that Neese was just being a knucklehead.
I love that term. You know?
So, let me ask you a question. Now, you're the manager of the Mets.
Okay.
Okay, and you've got a player like him that is kind of a knucklehead.
Yeah.
Do you do anything to it? I mean, why wouldn't you? You know, he did say that had this happened in his previous life, he said somebody would have had to come between them and break it up. He wasn't
was
going to
his
allow
previous
it to
life,
happen.
when he was
You know, when
drinking?
he was with when he was he was the manager of the Angels
I
like
see.
10, 12 years ago or
Okay.
whatever. But I don't know. I mean, what do you do with a player who's like that?
I don't think you. Well, I guess it's a slippery slope there. You know, I don't think you make separate rules because of somebody's personality. I really don't. You know, at the same time, I think a good manager needs to adapt.
Yes,
you know?
and I think he has.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, I think managers know their players better than everybody else.
Yeah.
And if everybody on the team knows that he's a
Knucklehead.
you know what I mean? What are they going to do? All righty.
Next story.
I did have another one.
Okay.
Okay. Speaking of Collins,
Yeah.
forget about meaningful games in September or the goal last year of winning 90 games. Collins said this week that the Mets should be playing in October.
Well, he already saw the schedule, I guess, right? They have 4 games in October, so okay, so
he
he's
said,
right.
But he said a couple things. He says, our young guys are starting to grow. With the addition of some offense, we're not done. I don't think Sandy is done. We're going to make some more moves before spring training starts. And I think 2015 is going to be a good year for us.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you something now. The thing that I didn't like that I read recently is Alderson saying, well, if we have to go with now who's the shortstop?
Wilmer Flores.
You know that we're okay. You know that guy cannot play shortstop. He's not a good fielder. You know what I mean? And he hasn't really proved that he can hit in the major leagues yet either. You know.
Well, that's you know, one of the things he said was talking about Flores.
Yeah.
He said he makes the everyday play, the routine play that you have to have made.
Yeah.
He's got arm strength. He has good hands. And the fact that his bat is going to play is going to be a big difference. Now, we didn't really see that bat last year.
Yeah, and we didn't see him making the everyday play either. I'll
No,
tell you that.
he
You know?
made a couple errors on that everyday
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.
And we know he can't make the really good play. So what do? Do you move him back to second base? Because those couple of games he played second base, he was fantastic.
Yeah.
He's so fluid on that double play
Yeah.
and the whole thing. But then what do you do with Murphy?
Well, and
Do you
they don't want to
Murphy?
trade Murphy. They don't want to trade Murphy. So
I don't want to see them trade Murphy because he's such a guy who cares.
Yeah.
He really
He's a good
cares.
character guy. He's
he
a good
loves
character
the
guy.
game. He will do
and he's
anything.
and he's a hitter. You know.
And he will do anything
Yeah.
to to win and to play. He'll do whatever. And he's the guy who sacrifices his body. You know. All right. We got time for one other quickie.
Okay, we're going to talk about Joe Torre. He's the Major League Executive Vice President. He said he was pleased with the first season of I don't know how he could be pleased about it. I don't think I was. I don't think anybody was. With the first season of baseball's instant replay challenge system, but could have done without all the on-field lingering by the managers.
Which I know is a touch point for you.
Pet peeve of mine. That's right. Right. When we first, this is Torre talking. When we first talked about the challenges, if you go out of the dugout, you couldn't challenge. But I didn't want to take away from the fact that the manager could run out there and argue. I didn't plan on them meandering out there. I mean, they're walking out there like they're having a stroll in the park. Their hands in their pocket, they're kicking dirt,
How are you? What'd you have for dinner?
Yeah.
They were just waiting for the thing.
I like the arguments. I really do. You know
I
what
love
I mean?
the argument.
I mean, I think if the manager thinks that the guy made a wrong call, he should go out and start arguing. You know what I mean? It's like, while he's arguing with the guy, the other guy can say either thumbs up or thumbs down, and he either walks off and he says, I was wrong, or yeah, let's go to instant replay on this,
Instant replay has really killed the sports argument.
Yep.
Well, no, I won't say that. Using instant replay to reverse calls has killed the argument.
Yeah. Yeah, I miss the good old days. Was it Billy Martin? Picking up dirt.
What about Lou Piniella picking up bases and throwing them? Those days are gone.
Yeah. Torre said the rules committee will look into ways preventing the manager from coming out and having a conversation while they wait for someone from the dugout to give them a thumbs up,
right,
or a thumbs down to the challenge.
You know what I mean? So I don't know.
So one area we'll do, Torre speaking, this one area we'll do something differently. I'm not sure what it is, but we'll certainly eliminate some of that standing around, because 10 seconds is a long time in a game. It's not 10 seconds these guys are standing around there either, though,
I just don't understand what he's talking about with 10 seconds.
Yeah.
It's certainly not 10 seconds.
It's a lot
we
more
were
than
talking
that.
about the Arizona Fall League, using
experiment.
that 20-second clock for pitchers. And having the batter keep at least 1 foot in the batter's box at all time.
Yep.
Okay. The games have really been quicker.
Yeah.
According to what they've been saying, but many players have felt that they were rushed.
Oh, geez.
So they're trying to. I guess they're trying to see what works.
Reinvent the game.
By the way, on the topic of home plate collisions,
they're
going to relook at. Defining the rules to clarify it.
Okay.
Because Torre said basically that umpires should not allow a runner to be safe on a blocking call on a throw that clearly beats them to the plate.
Yeah.
Again, I think the point of the whole rule was just to prevent, once the catcher has the ball, the guy from knocking them over.
They're throwing too much into this thing.
Why couldn't they just say, once the catcher has the ball,
he could do anything.
The player can't bowl over the catcher. Right? You can't run over the second baseman.
Yeah.
You know why you can't run over any of the other players?
Why?
Not because you can't, but because if you do, they'll just tag you out because you're not on the base. But when you get to home, it's the last base.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you knock the guy over and you touch the base and run past it. Your momentum takes you past it.
And this is all because of this Buster Posey thing a couple of years ago, right?
One thing that happened that hurt one guy.
Yeah.
All righty. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we'll talk about the woeful Knicks. Is that what we're going to call them?
Well, I don't know what else you can call them. Okay.
All righty. You're watching The Glory Days Show with Bruce Disco, only on the InRadio.com TV network. We're coming right back.
InRadio.com.
Transmission of lice occurs from being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Like catching a cold or a flu.
You have guaranteed peace of mind in every bottle of Got Lice because all of our products are completely natural
And organic.
but strong enough to cover all your lice removal needs while being safe and effective. Our professional technicians are specially trained with our exclusive proven technique to successfully comb out head lice. We come right to your home at your convenience.
Whenever you want us.
We bring everything needed to perform a successful and complete comb out while eliminating your head lice. And we leave you with our exclusive complimentary products to use for the next 10 days following our treatment.
For free.
Our technicians also check all family members who have been exposed to lice. Please visit us on our website today at gotlice.co or feel free to call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 646-257-0121.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. InRavio.com wants you. InRavio provides the best in TV, film, post-production, and so much more. And we're growing. Right now, we're looking for a team of pros that can join us. So what are you waiting for? We need show hosts, production crew, marketing gurus, sales experts, audio engineers, lighting, visual effects, and camera crews. We want you. Go to InRavio.com/join the team. The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com. The Bully News Network, coming soon to InRavio.com. An all-new weekly show highlighting the latest news and information about the epidemic of bullying. Join Scott Hislop as he explores the issues with Dr. Michelle Golland, along with parents, teachers, and school officials, and many others affected by bullying. We'll tell stories together and work toward finding a solution to this rampant problem. The Bully News Network premieres Tuesday, September 9th at 6 p.m. only on InRavio.com.
Welcome back to the Gloria Day Show with Bruce and Disco here on InReview.com. Actually, the InReview.com TV network.
Yeah.
Got to remember that. Okay. Let's talk about our bumbling Knicks. After a 2-1 start, the Knicks have now lost 7 straight games.
After they lost last night.
And last night was actually the first time all year that they've scored 100 points in a game.
Mm-hmm.
Former Knick, remember Michael Ray Richardson?
I do. You mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
So he was sitting
Cocaine.
courtside on
Yeah.
Wednesday night during the Knicks' loss to the equally embarrassing Orlando Magic.
Yeah.
Richardson, when he was with the Knicks, he uttered one of the greatest lines of all time during the end of the 81-82 season. When he was asked about the Knicks, he said, "The ship be sinking."
Oh, boy.
So earlier this week, rookie head coach Derek Fisher was asked if he would have wanted to continue his playing career this season if not for being offered the head coaching job by Phil Jackson. And he says, "I probably would have still have.
Yeah.
I guess I'd still been playing if I had not been presented with this great opportunity to be here."
Uh-huh.
You know, he was a 5-time NBA champion in Jackson's famous triangle offense.
It's got to be killing him, you know, and he's never experienced losing 7 games in a row in his playing career.
Never.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yep. So after watching the Knicks' 91-85 loss to Detroit this week, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver joked that it clearly looked like the Knicks were still learning the triangle offense. Well, they haven't mastered it for sure. I can tell you that,
certainly not. You know.
I watched the Knicks game last night. I still don't understand it, but they're learning it. You know. He should have watched, I guess, and I gotta go back and watch that show if it's on demand. That's,
the Spike Lee
you know,
thing?
The
Yeah.
Secret of the Triangle, or whatever it was.
Maybe
you know?
the whole team should watch
Yeah,
that show.
exactly right.
Because it seemed that Spike Lee figured it out.
Yeah. Knicks president Phil Jackson didn't think it was funny. He felt it was unnecessary for the commissioner to comment on a triangle offense. He goes, "There's enough focus on the triangle. It's not anything. It's a system. It's simple basketball. Just play the game. We're over the triangle. Let's get down to business and play the right way."
Right.
He's right.
You know, it seemed that a lot of the guys were, I mean, I don't know, that, you know, anytime you put in something like a different offense,
Yeah, a different system.
you know, a different system, everybody's going to be a little confused. But it's basketball,
Yeah.
you know? I don't know. it's just not a good team.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about. I mean, we knew this was going to be a year where they kind of learned things, but they started out 2-1, and Carmelo Anthony said, "Oh, we're going to be a lot better. We're a playoff team or whatever." Now that they've lost 7 in a row, I guess they don't look like a playoff team anymore.
But you know what? If you think about it, okay, they've played 8 games.
Yeah.
They played 8 games in the first 12 days of the season. That's a lot of basketball. And 7 of the teams that they played against were in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
And the
it's
one
just
game
these
that
last
they
2
won,
games that they played Orlando, who's a bad team, and they played the Utah Jazz, it's a bad team too. I mean,
right. And actually, one of the games they won was against Cleveland.
Yeah. LeBron
With
James'
LeBron
team.
James
Yeah.
in Cleveland during their home opener.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of the Giants putting this new offense in, and they said it might take us half a year to get it right. The Giants, but they
Let me
still don't
ask
have
you
it really
something.
right,
Why do you do that? If something is it that it's so difficult to understand that, isn't that what training camp is for?
Well, yeah, but I mean, they don't have a long training camp anymore. They really don't,
So I did a little research on exactly what the triangle offense was.
Okay.
And I couldn't find any.
Really?
Now, I didn't watch the Spike Lee thing, though.
Well,
but now I
like
think I
say,
have to.
If it's on demand, I'm going to go back and watch it. I really am, because I understand it was pretty lighthearted too. I mean, I guess I'm not sure they got into a lot of the detail there. Just maybe they explained it and that was it.
Well, I did get. I found something from Phil Jackson about it. Now, you being a musician,
Okay.
you might understand it. He said the offense is run on a 4/4 beat. Okay, what is that? Is that
1, 2? That's a regular beat, man.
1, 2, right?
Yeah.
1, 2. Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
He says you have a 2 count to be a continual threat. And after a 2 count, if you're still holding the ball, you're holding up the offense. So the ball has to move, and you have to move it.
See, the problem is there's no music playing when the Knicks have the ball.
Well, maybe they should dun, 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 every time they move the ball. That's your 2 beat, right?
Yeah.
But I guess the object is you get the ball. If you have it for more than a 2 count, it's too long. You either have to get it and shoot it or get it and pass it.
Like a hot potato, I guess.
Right,
Is what it
and
is,
it's not that, when I first thought about it, they talk about it being a triangle. I thought it would involve passing and trying to get the open guy, and as many passes as you need to get, you finally get a guy open. That's not it. It is obviously passing, but it's passing till you get the open shot and shoot, not till, there's some college coaches that part of their offense is that I want all 5 guys to touch the ball before anyone takes a shot. That's not what he's talking about.
Yeah.
He also says, now again, remember, this is a guy that
This is
coached
Phil
Michael
Jackson
Jordan.
talking? Yeah.
He coached Michael Jordan. He coached Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Okay? He says, there were times in the course of the night when Michael or Kobe, our primary scorers, would be operating within the mindset of, I'm going to score every time I touch the ball.
Well, he had a conversation with Carmelo Anthony, I think, about that recently, too.
Yeah, but he says you can't do that.
Yeah.
The defense will queue up on you. There's a fine balance. The opportunities are there, and you have to be inside the system and play within it. Talking about Carmelo Anthony, and this is something that we brought up in the first, before they re-signed Anthony. He had said, he had a quote that says, the problem with Carmelo Anthony is that once he gets the ball, nobody else touches the ball.
Yeah.
Right? So Jackson had to talk to him, and he says that we had to talk about how to approach the new system, what to expect, and what the mindset is. He
Told him
says
he's got to do some offensive rebounding, is what he said, too,
he like it because he doesn't get in there.
Yep. Now, one of the things that Phil Jackson said, listen, by the time Christmas rolls around,
Yes.
I'm going to know who could play this, who gets it, and who don't get it. And the guys that he feels aren't going to get it, he's going to get rid of.
Yeah.
And I think he needs to do that, You either get the program or you're gone, is what it comes down to.
And again, when you're talking about somebody like Carmelo Anthony, he's never done this his whole career.
Yeah.
You can't just, you're not just going to
No, that's right.
stop cold turkey.
That's right.
You know,
Change
so
is
that-
difficult for everybody. It really
Yeah,
is, you know?
But then why would you sign him to a long-term contract? Why wouldn't you just let him go? They always say a leopard doesn't change their spots.
Yeah.
You know, what makes him think that you're taking a guy like Carmelo Anthony and you're going to get him to work in this offense? Just, I mean, granted, he's a great player, he's a great offensive player, he's all those superlatives, but he's never won. And the reason why is that he's not a team player. Basketball is the ultimate, you know, one of the ultimate team sports.
Well, I think he's bought into the system, though. You know what I mean? It's just going to
maybe that's what's causing him to. He's having the worst shooting.
Except for last night, he had a great game last night. He scored 40-something points. You know, and actually he hit like a he banked in a 3-pointer to tie it up at 100. Only to see them lose by the guy shooting a miracle shot.
You know, and the thing is, he had missed before last night. He had missed 58 of 84 shots.
Wow,
that's a lot.
Yeah,
and you're supposed to be like the guy.
Yeah.
All right. You made it this far. Why not hang out to the end?
Okay.
We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll wrap things up. You're watching The Glory Day Show with Bruce Disco here on the InRavio.com TV network. Coming right back.
InRavio.com. The Bully News Network, coming soon to InRavio.com, an all-new weekly show highlighting the latest news and information about the epidemic of bullying. Join Scott Hislop as he explores the issues with Dr. Michelle Golland, along with parents, teachers, and school officials, and many others affected by bullying. We'll tell stories together and work toward finding a solution to this rampant problem. The Bully News Network premieres Tuesday, September 9th at 6 p.m. only on InRavio.com. For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. InRavio.com wants you. InRavio provides the best in TV, film, post-production, and so much more. And we're growing. Right now, we're looking for a team of pros that can join us. So what are you waiting for? We need show hosts, production crew, marketing gurus, sales experts, audio engineers, lighting, visual effects, and camera crews. We want you. Go to InRavio.com/join the team.
Yeah.
And baseball had came back with all of their, I guess all their awards are now given, right?
Yeah. So we talked about, Jacob deGrom won the Rookie of the Year for the Mets. In the AL, it was Jose Abreu, first baseman.
Okay.
Okay.
What about Cy Young?
Cy Young, it was Clayton Kershaw of the Dodgers. He was 21-3 with a 1.77 ERA.
Lost 2
In the
games
American League, it was Corey Kluber, who was 18-9 with a 2.44 ERA. Now, the MVP was also won in the National League by Clayton Kershaw, and that's the first time that's happened since 1968.
Wow.
That dominating year by Bob Gibson of the St. Louis Cardinals.
I don't like that.
Well,
giving
yeah.
pitchers the MVP.
It doesn't happen all that often. In the American League, it was Mike Trout of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Can I just say one other thing? I know these are regular season awards.
Yeah.
Okay. But, you're Clayton Kershaw. You stunk the joint for 2 playoff games that cost your team a thing. How do you, with a big smile on your face, go pick up the most valuable player award?
Well, because it's regular season, as you said. It's not,
but still, I mean, at least I would say, listen, I know I pitched great in the regular season, and I'm sorry. I would
What is he going to do? Not take the award?
No.
Okay,
I'm not saying not take the award.
Not smile?
I'm still shoving it in your face because I won it.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, even if you beat me, I'm still shoving the thing because I got the hardware.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You got the ring though, and the question is, what's more important?
Well,
the
I
ring
mean,
is
for a team sport, it's got to be the ring.
Yeah.
It does have to be. Then manager of the year.
Manager of the year.
Matt Williams of the Washington Nationals. They went 96 and 66. 30
Another
games over
terrible
500.
playoff team.
What's that?
Another terrible playoff.
Yeah. And in the American League, it was Buck Showalter, also 96 and 66.
Another terrible playoff team.
Yeah.
Although they at least won one round, and then they lost
To Kansas City in the
Kansas City.
in the American League Championship Series.
But how does a guy like Bruce Bochy not get it? Forget about the fact that they won the World Series. They had an incredible season.
I
They
agree.
started out the year so bad.
I agree.
They were 10, 11 games behind the Dodgers, and they made up all those games in a month.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden now, I don't know. We were talking about free agents and stuff.
Yeah.
You know who's a free agent?
Who?
The pitcher on the Yankees, David Robertson.
Yeah, he wants a lot of money, don't he?
Yeah, the Yankees. What you have to do in baseball is when you've got a guy who is a certain year, okay, you still own him.
Years of service.
Years of service. So you give him what is called a qualifying offer, $15.3 million. Okay, that's the qualifying.
For 1 year.
1 year, 15. This year, every free agent. Every qualifying offer is $15.3 million. It's across the board.
Oh,
doesn't matter what team you are.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what you made last year. It's only that's the qualifying. Now, for your $15.3 million offer, you, the Yankees, are now saying, I'm going to give you this 1 year, and if you take the 1 year, I'm paying you $15.3 million, but then next year you're a free agent. And we don't have to do anything for
I
you.
see.
Okay. If you don't take it, you become a free agent, but I get a first-round draft choice. So for a team like the Yankees, these qualifying offers are pretty good because they don't care how much money they spend. So
Well, I don't know. Last year they said they did, and then they spent all that money. Is what they did, right? They wanted to get under 200 and whatever it was.
they wound up beating the Mets by 3 games.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
right? So Robinson is looking for what they call Papelbon money. Okay, Papelbon got a 4-year, $50 million deal in 2011. But Brian Cashman said he's not about to pay anybody not named Mariano Rivera that much money. Rivera did get like $15 million in his last year or his last 2 or 3 years. And now Robinson's going to be 30, and it was only his first year as a closer. And it wasn't like he was lights out. He was 39 out of 44. He did blow 5 saves.
Yeah.
Okay. And he was 4 and 5 as a reliever.
Gotcha.
But the Yankees also, they have that Delton, what's that?
Betancourt.
Dylan Betances.
Yeah.
Betances. He was a rookie. He was 3rd in the Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
Alrighty, so that's about it.
So we'll continue some of these discussions next week. I'm sure there'll be new things that'll come up during the week. Jets don't play this week, thank God, so they can't lose.
They can't lose. That's the running joke this week.
Yeah, the Islanders have a couple of big games coming up. They got a home and home against Tampa Bay, followed by a home and home against Pittsburgh.
And just remember, before you get on any flight, call Michael Kadire.
That's right.
Make sure. By the way, my son is going to Brussels on Monday.
Brussels.
Kevin is going to Brussels on Monday.
Tell him to bring me back some Brussels sprouts. Okay.
He's not doing that. My son is like vegetables his
I
kryptonite.
see. Okay. No Brussels sprouts for me.
All right.
Okay.
I want to thank the beautiful and talented Bonnie Schultz for being our executive producer today, because Kyle was out somewhere else today.
Yep. Gallivanting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And thanks again, Chuck and Bonnie, for putting up with this nonsense week after week. And of course, thanks to you, our loyal viewers. Don't forget, you can check out our
Glory Days on demand.
On demand.
Yeah.
On the InRavio.com website. And you can check out all the great InRavio shows out there. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. We'll see you next week.
InRavio.